Hello, it's Phillip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers speaking. I'm looking at a book from the Legal Action Group, which is an excellent book on asylum seekers. It's this one here, 3rd edition, Support for Asylum Seekers and Other Migrants. It's a guide to legal aid, legal and welfare rights, and it's very much an advisor's handbook written by Sue Willman and Stephen Knapfler. The Legal Action Group specialise in this sort of thing, and what they've done is they've produced excellent works. This is one of them. Standard format here, cases and statutes at the front, very useful paragraph numbering at the sides so you can find things very quickly. The relevant legislations in the appendices, which are covered here in this sort of shaded area, and then right at the back you've got a very detailed index which is extremely helpful. I've written a review on Flickr with my wife, and we've given it a title, Welfare and Legal Rights of Asylum Seekers in Focus. And this is what we say. Publications, of course, from the Legal Action Group, particularly the handbooks for advisors, are becoming increasingly well known to the wider public, and it's a very good job too. They're well written, they're easy to read, and they are understandable. They are admired, of course, LAG, for their rigorous high standards of thorough research, as well as for their plain speaking, their practicality, ease of use, and importantly the sense of compassion that lies at the heart, which we rely heavily on as professionals when giving advice. Therefore, support for asylum seekers, this book, continues in the vein with the 3rd edition, and LAG note that it's, quote, the only handbook that focuses exclusively on the welfare and legal rights of asylum seekers. Additionally, the 3rd edition has been expanded to cover welfare needs of other migrants, and that in particular includes refused asylum seekers at the end of the process and EU nationals. Now, the authors view with dismay, if not alarm, the current situation in which asylum seekers typically find themselves, observing that little has changed since publication of the last edition of the handbook in 2004. And Alison Harvey, Secretary of the Immigration Law Practitioners Association, refers in the foreword to the combination of poor administration and punitive policies that view destitution as a means of immigration control that have long dogged this area of law. Muddle and misery, she says, quoting Helen Bamber's preface to the 1st edition of the handbook in 2002, will do just as well to describe the situation in 2009, so not a lot seems to have changed. Of course, it's a politically charged issue and will be featuring in the election in 2010. All the more reason, therefore, imply the authors, for asylum seekers, vulnerable and desperate as they usually are, to be able to access representation and advice from advocates possessing a sound understanding of applicable national and international law. In this extremely vexed area of advocacy, of course, legal representatives must be able to grasp and utilise expertise, not just across immigration, but across other areas of law, particularly welfare benefits, community care and housing, all against a backdrop of a frequently changing legal aid system and the substantial difficulties we've got with the budget. The handbook, which has extended its scope to include other migrants, including those whose claims for asylum have failed but who cannot be returned to their country, is of immense help, we think, to the practitioner who needs to navigate the troubled waters of immigration. Let me conclude by saying that if you're an advocate or advisor involved with or specialising in immigration law, make sure you add this invaluable handbook to your professional library, especially in view of the relevant provisions of the Borders, Citizenship and Immigration Act 2009, which is coming in, we think, in July 2011. The contents of the handbook here reflect the law as it is in August 2009, although I've recorded this a little later in the year. And it puts this emotive subject very much in focus, we think. So thank you, Sue Willman and Stephen Knapfler, and also the Legal Action Group. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.